If you book a flight in South Asia today on the national flag carrier of Bangladesh, you'll be flying on Bangladesh Biman. In many contemporary Indian languages, Vimana is simply the literal translation for a modern commercial aircraft. But thousands of years before the invention of the jet engine, that exact same word meant something entirely different. In ancient Hindu epics, a Vimana was a mythological construct operating on divine will, not aerodynamics. Take the Ramayana, one of the most famous Sanskrit epics. It describes the Pushpaka Vimana, a flying palace that glowed like the sun. Stolen by the demon king Ravana, it could travel anywhere through the atmosphere at his command. The Mahabharata offers a similar vision. It details a massive, crystalline flying chariot gifted to a king by a god. These ancient vehicles were strictly viewed as celestial thrones, powered by the deities themselves, lacking any gears, wings, or engines. For centuries, Vimanas remained squarely in the realm of religious metaphor and divine magic. Because of that firmly established mythology, it makes what happened next a bizarre historical anomaly. A few hundred years ago, a human author finally decided to treat these magical chariots as a literal, physical engineering problem. In the 11th century, King Bhojadeva compiled the Samarangana Sutradhara, featuring a detailed section on mechanical contrivances. He defined a yantra as a machine designed to control earth, water, fire, and air to achieve a physical motion. He applied this strictly mechanical philosophy directly to the concept of the Vimana. Instead of gods moving palaces with their minds, a human author was now attempting to reverse engineer a spiritual myth using the language of physics. To get a Vimana off the ground, Bhojadeva bypassed magic entirely. His blueprints relied on a distinct physical element: liquid mercury heated over a controlled flame. The text outlines two distinct types of flying machines. The first is the Lagu Daru Vimana. It is described as a light wooden aircraft shaped like a giant bird, complete with wings. The propulsion system relies on a central fire chamber heating a closed container of mercury. The expanding vapor from the boiling liquid creates an upward motive force, which assists a human rider positioned inside who is physically flapping the mechanical wings. The second design scales things up. The Alagu Daru Vimana is a massive, heavy wooden craft constructed to look like a flying temple. Instead of one engine, it houses 4 strong iron pitchers of boiling mercury. According to the text, the intense heat required to boil that much mercury caused the entire heavy wooden structure to vibrate violently. The resulting mechanical friction produced a deafening roar, so terrifying it was said to scatter enemy elephants on the battlefield. These designs were incredibly creative, speculative thought experiments. Bhojadeva himself admitted in the text that he was intentionally withholding the final construction steps for ethical reasons, so the knowledge wouldn't be misused. This confirms the Mercury engines were theoretical fiction, not working prototypes. The fact that Bhojadeva purposely left his 11th century blueprints incomplete created a historical void. Decades later, in the 20th century, that missing technical data became a perfect breeding ground for conspiracy theories. In the 1920s, a new text called the Vaimanika Shastra surfaced. It claimed to be an authentic ancient aerospace manual containing the exact technical secrets of the Vimanas. In reality, the author dictated the entire book by claiming he was psychically channeling an ancient sage. Modern internet culture eagerly adopted these channeled writings. Online theorists frequently try to validate the book's ancient Mercury engines by pointing to actual NASA ion propulsion research from the 1960s, which also experimented with mercury as a propellant. Linking a psychic text to modern spaceflight reveals a deep cultural desire. People want a literal, scientific interpretation of these ancient myths so badly that they will embrace fabricated evidence to make the math work. To settle the debate, the Aeronautical and Mechanical Engineering departments at the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore launched a formal investigation into the Vaimanika Shastra in 1974. Their published conclusion was blunt. They declared the 20th century designs to be poor concoctions, noting that the author demonstrated a complete lack of understanding of basic aerodynamics. Ancient Vimanas were never actual flying machines. Yet, tracking their evolution from the magical, sun-like chariots of the Ramayana to the theoretical mercury engines of the 11th century shows a thousands of years-long obsession. Long before we had the technology to leave the ground, we were already drafting the blueprints to conquer the sky.